Brought to you by Penguin.
Beneath the Rising by Premee Mohamed. Read by Omari Newton. Chapter 1. My earliest memory of her smells like blood. I remember just enough. I woke in twilight, of violet dimness, and looked at the hospital bed next to me, reek of dried blood and disinfectant, the unfamiliar profile of a pale girl visible through a clear mask. They had loaded me with enough drugs to erase my body. I thought, I am a head. I am just a head in a bed. I suppose they thought it would be monstrous to let a little kid feel that kind of pain. People used to ask how we met. I would always say, our moms are friends. That's how we made friends. 2 lies. That was then, this was now, leerily waiting for her at international arrivals. These were unfriendly times to be nervous-looking and brown and alone after what happened last September. Those 2 planes nearly hitting the World Trade Towers, overshooting, crashing into the river. It didn't matter that the hijackers had failed. What had mattered was that they were Muslims. Kids I had known half my life had hurled slurs at me after school, terms for Muslims that I didn't even know, more generic insults that I did. Kids that knew I wasn't Muslim. Who cared when all you needed to know was that the terrorist had been brown? And people in uniform had started giving me long, cool looks everywhere I went. Mall, airport, walking home from school. News stories about turbaned men beaten at train stations late at night. One kid walking with his hijabi mother shoved into traffic by a jeering group of frat boys at the university while she watched. Someone had spray-painted terrorist on the sides of both a mosque and a synagogue. People were so batshit scared, they couldn't even be racist right. I ignored the stares and tried not to look too anxious as I waited for my best friend to deplane. It wasn't that it was a big deal or anything, just that she could have gotten a cab or a limo or sent a driver, but instead she had called me after we hadn't seen each other for 6 months. And I wanted that to mean something again. Like the old days, when we silently denied that she was getting more extraordinary and I was getting more ordinary, and one day our friendship would die out in a way that couldn't be rekindled. There she was at last, caught in the mosh pit at the gate as cameras that I hadn't seen in the crowd began to flash. Goddamn digital cameras that people could fit in their pockets instead of the big black rigs that you could watch out for. I towed her out and propped her next to a vending machine while the tide of people ebbed around us, so that the reporters had to photograph my back instead of her exhausted face. "Welcome back, baby Einstein," I said. "Buy you a Coke? I think I've got a toonie." Or straight home. Home? What's a home? Oh my God, Nick, that flight, no words. Not in the English language, maybe in Latin. Can we get a Happy Meal? Or a Starbucks? God, I could really use a coffee. Or maybe not. I don't know. I threw up like 3 times in the plane, and then I ate a pack of Mentos. And Mentos aren't really food, are they? They're almost you can almost use them like aeronautical epoxy to slow down for a second, Johnny. I said, I think I need caffeine more than I need processed poultry product, but the jury's very much out. You sound like you've literally been drinking nothing but coffee for a week. Not a week. Not literally. "Where's your minder, for Christ's sake?" I said. Her assistant Rutger was usually steps behind her. I thought he was supposed to keep this kind of thing from happening. Being ambushed by paparazzi, I meant. She often managed to sneak in and out, smuggle down airport pedways through tunnels in strange cities, emerging under her hotel or in university parkades so that people joked about teleportation when really, ye shall rue the day you secretly did all that. "He's coming in tomorrow. We booked up our flights. And don't call him that." Back at the car, I cautiously revved the elderly engine and said, "All right, which do you really want? Nuggets or coffee? I'm working at noon. I don't have time for both." Silence. She'd passed out, head lolling against the window, her open mouth all pink tongue and razor-sharp teeth like a cat. Her sleep was so deep that her eyes cracked open, showing a sliver of iris past the lashes. That too, just like a cat. Not a house cat, though. One of those little wild ones. She roused herself enough to hand me a 20 as we reached the parking kiosks, and then we hit the highway, where the hum of the wheels put her back up.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?